Hi all, I just wanted to take a minute and walk you through the affordances and constraints section here in Module 2 because this is a really important concept that we're going to be reviewing over and over again throughout the course. It's really the essence of what we're doing here is critically thinking about technology and how it's really helping us to benefit learners, and then beyond that, how we do with implementation of the technologies that we decide to use. And one of the things that you will be doing on this section 2.4 in Module 2 is reviewing an article that was written by Joseph Friedhoff. And the title of the article is Reflecting on the Affordances and Constraints of Technologies and Their Impact on Pedagogical Goals. And it's a short article, but it's just a really poignant article because in it he takes apart a particular lesson or objective, I should say, that he wanted to accomplish with his pre-service teachers. And he measures it against two different technologies. And I don't want to tell you what the outcome is, but basically he's considering the use of discussion boards as well as blogs for teacher reflection. And again, so I really want you to read through it, and I want you to pay particular attention to the three-step process that he goes through. Let me just read to you quickly what they are so you kind of are aware and have a heads up on what you should be paying specific attention to. So the first process that he identifies is looking at the principles of the learning task and how that technology will support the learning task. And then really the core is step 2. And that's where he looks at the affordances and constraints of the technologies that he's using to support the learning task or the principles that he has assigned. And then finally, there's a step that he goes through for assessing the implementation of the technology. And really what he's after is, long after the class, are the students still able to use the technology in a useful way? And so those are 3 really great steps, and I think you'll appreciate the way he steps you through how he decided which of those 2 technologies best met the needs, and then the learning factors that well beyond the class. So the other thing that I want to share with you is the Learning Journal itself, the Affordances and Constraints Journal. So there's a link for you on your section 2.4, which will take you to this Affordances and Constraints Reflection Journal. And what you're going to need to do the first time around is make a copy of it. And then I want you to please, when you share it so that I can comment on it. Okay, it's only going to be shared between you and I. So all I will be doing is just reviewing your content and just giving you some feedback or sharing with you some thoughts. And what you're going to see at the very top is there are links to the 6 different elements that we're going to be reviewing throughout the course. And then, of course, you can read the criteria. But what I want you to do is just think of this as a thinking journal. It's a tool for you to use, to reflect on, and hopefully you'll be able to go back to it time and time again as you start using different technologies in your classrooms. But let me just walk you through quickly the different parts. I should show you here, there's sort of 6 guiding questions that you should be thinking about. And you'll see that time and time again whenever it is time to look at the affordances and constraints. I remind you of those guiding questions. But basically, for every one of the 6 elements that we're reviewing, you'll see up at the top, there's sort of a graphic organizer, if you will. We're going to first look at how might teachers use the tool, and then we're going to measure it against a given lens. In this case, in the very first one, we're looking at the Sammer model. And then you'll also be looking at student use and thinking about, from the student's perspective, how might you be able to have students use the tool? And again, measuring it against the lens of the day, if you will. And then you'll think of 3 different affordances and 3 different constraints. And then, as always, we should have a plan B for technology, because in all the years that I've been working to integrate technology into education, there is inevitably something that goes wrong. Either the internet goes down, or somebody's screen freezes, or the tool just isn't working, or we can't log in. So I always have some form of a plan B, and often that involves a paper, a pencil, and a piece of paper. And that's good. The point is just have a plan B so that you're not flustered and you don't lose the student's attention while you're fiddling around trying to get things going or working again. And so I'm just going to ask you to reflect on plan Bs. All right. There's not really a right or wrong answer. It's up to you and what you think will be useful as a substitution for what you're originally planning. And then the last part is the virtual toolbox. And I mentioned that in the introduction video. At the end of each of these 6 graphic organizers, you're to think of an alternative tool. And this is really your opportunity to get out there and explore what other tools are out there that might be able to be used. In this case, the first one, we're looking at virtual bulletin boards, and there's a ton of them. And if you can't find a tool, maybe you find another kind of a resource, even an article, or maybe even an example on a website, or one that you know of from a colleague that really demonstrates a good use of the tool that we are studying. So that's really about it. And I hope you enjoyed going through this, and I hope that you find it to be a really useful and practical exercise. And again, please call me or email me and set up a Skype or Google Hangout appointment so if you've got any questions. All right. Thank you.